let's talk about oil pastels. It's one of my favorite mediums because it sort of crosses the line between drawing and painting. And sometimes it's really great for certain kids, and everybody really enjoys them. One of the things that frustrates a child, though, is when the oil pastels start to look like crayons. And if you don't know how to use them, they tend to do that. So today I want to show you how to prevent oil pastels from looking like crayons and make them look like paint, because that's the way they're designed to be used. All right, so there are a couple of ways to do this. One is with layering, and the other is with blending. And sometimes those kind of do the same things. All right, so we're going to start with layering. I'm going to draw a couple of boxes here on my paper and pencil. And I'm going to use some deep colors for layering. And as you can see, that looks very much like a crayon. It's very expressive, but it reminds them of their childhood drawings, and they don't want that. So what you want to do is start to layer colors together. That's how we use paint. Layering starts to make them look quite different. And then you can start putting unusual colors. This is a dark green. I'm putting it on the brown. It starts to look really nice. Now I'm getting lots of layers, and no longer does it have that harsh look. It's starting to be rich, like paint. And what's going on here is the colors are getting smeared together. That's a really good term to remember, is smear your colors with oil pastels. Now I'm going to use a lighter green. It's going to smear them even more and blend them. And they just get beautiful. The more you do, sometimes the better it gets. Now here I'm starting to get so much oil pastel that I'm having to lighten up a little bit so I'm not scraping into the thickness of the rich colors. But I just warmed it up with this nice dark yellow color. So that's one way to do it. And you can see that looks just like paint. Another way to do it is by blending just a little bit, especially with white or with a similar color. Here I'm going to use a little bit lighter blue on top of a darker blue. And now I'm going to use the white oil pastel. And you're going to see the magic happen here really quickly with the white. It's just fantastic. Look at that. Paint. When they see this, the students just love it. They go, whoa, that looks so fun. I want to do more of that. It's real expressive. And when a student's kind of uptight and they're frustrated with something, sometimes it's really good to say, hey, let's just take a break and do something else with oil pastels. And then they get to kind of mess around with it. And it's so much more forgiving, and it's free, that it really works wonders. All right, one other thing I want to show you is how to make these things blend without other oil pastels. You can choose like a couple of colors to blend into a gradient. Like I'm using orange, and yellow. And say I want to make that into a nice sunset gradient, but I don't want to lighten it up with white and make it soft. Then I'm going to use a blending tool. And that's what this is. This is called a paper stump, or we call it a blender stick. And you can start from one end and you just start smearing it. Again, that word smear. And again, it starts to look just like paint. Look at that. Isn't that nice? And that's without layering. And you can continue to layer on those, or you can smear. You can also smear with your finger. Some kids just love sticking their fingers in their work. Some kids do not. So the finger works, makes it a little messy. And the last thing that you can use is a paper towel. You can smear with a paper towel. And it works just like a finger. So that's how you use oil pastels and make them look like paint. When kids smear them together, either with layering or with blending tools, they see the richness and they see the colors working together, and they go, that's what I want to do. and it's expressive, it's fun, and it's a great time, and it's a great tool and a great medium. So I hope you enjoy using oil pastels as much as I do.